Right. Good evening, everybody. Today, the last part of Biosphere. Morning we did. Now we are going to finish off the last part of last part. Can mean this section is more and more important part. What we are going to do now, this 1 hour, 1.5 hours, more important section. After that, again, or a food mile. That part is there. That part I told you I'll do it in the theory class. So this part we are going to do is 1 hour, 1.5 hour, more important. Biosphere, the heart of Biosphere. Sorry, right. Before we start, I'll open the group. Tell me, is all the DOs perfect? Is all the DOs perfect? All okay? YouTube people, YouTube people, all the groups are open. All okay, no? Working well. Working well. Correct. Right. Lamai, already I sent the tube. Already I sent the tube. Morning we finished up to pop is done. Up to here, no? Up to here. What are the adverse effects of pop? Huh? What are the adverse effects of pop? Until there we did today. Now this part, adverse effects of environmental pollution, direct effects and indirect effect more important. In that direct effect is more and more important. Listen very carefully. Today's this part, direct effects of environmental pollution, very important. Sorry. Before we start, before we start, before we start. Now, if there is anyone new who is joining the Biosphere session, usually this time slot is for MCQ session. Today, instead of MCQ, we are finishing off the Biosphere section. Take a one. Two, already 2 sessions for Biosphere is done. That is already there in the YouTube. 2 sessions for Biosphere done. The video is there in YouTube. Go to King's Perori YouTube. YouTube, go to King's Perori channel. There you can find the other two videos of Biosphere. Usually on other days at this time, what we have 1000 MCQ session. Sorry, other days we have the MCQ session. Today, additionally, I mean, what we left in the morning hours, we are finishing off today evening. That's why today, now we are doing Biosphere section. Other days, this time we have MCQ session. Nah? Sorry, new students, just keep it in mind. New students, just keep it in mind. Tutes now. Tutes I already informed. Tutes already, a pack is already dispatched, right? They will start the couriering by tomorrow. No, by day after tomorrow, again, you will get called. Day after tomorrow, again, keep your phone on. Those who gave the number, keep that number on. Now, you can't keep it always near your study table. Best is hand it over to your mother or father. Superb, no, lamai. These days, give your phone to your mother and father. Right? Anytime you can get a call. You can't always check the phone, so tell your mother or father to check the phone. Best is if your mother is at home, give to her. Okay, mama, I'm going to study. You handle my phone. Sorry. You take care of the phone here. Okay, so anytime you can get a call. Sorry. So y'all don't just keep on checking the phone. Give it to someone so that that person can check it. That is one. And another set of tutes will be dispatched on Thursday. Uh, that is mainly targeting the batch 2 seminar students. Batch 2 seminar already in the first set also it has gone. But still those who are purchasing batch 2 seminar, those who purchase, again we are dispatching another set of tutes on this Thursday. Thursday is 18th. Thursday is 18th. On 18th we are giving. So 17th until night we have time. So purchase until night. Next day morning we are sending those tubes again. After that also, මෙහෙම වැඩක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. Now I can courier the tube until the seminar day. I can courier the tube. It will not come to your hand on the seminar day. On the online seminar day, it will not come to your hand. So might be on the seminar day, you might need to use your PDF. Hard copy from me if you wanted to have. I will keep on sending. Okay. So first we will finish off the 17th deadline thing. After that, still, if anyone wants, just send me a message. We can check and do. Hurry. Right. Now come to the lesson. Very important part. Listen very, very carefully. Yeah? Now itself, just like in the morning hours. Now itself we read. Now itself we put the things to the mind. Now itself we learn. Everything done and dusted. Now it's sorry. Adverse effects of environmental pollution. Now, until now, we learned about environmental pollution. Tell me the 3 types of environmental pollution, Lamai. That is where we started today. After that nitrogen cycle. Tell me, what are the 3 types of environmental pollution? Now these things should come into the mind. What are the 3 ways of environmental pollution? Soil pollution, water pollution, and air pollution. Soil pollution, water pollution, air pollution. Right. Now we saw what are the ways by which it is polluted. What are the ways by which this pollution happens? Soil pollution, water pollution, all of them. Sorry. How they happen? How they happen, we already went through. That is our today morning session. Right. Mainly by the waste materials added. What are the waste materials? By agrochemical waste, by industrial waste, greenhouse gases, heavy metals, particulate matter, domestic waste, electronic waste, nuclear waste. By all of them, this pollution will happen. Environmental pollution will happen. Now we are going to see what are the adverse effects of environmental pollution. Due to pollution, what are going to happen? There are some direct effects as well as there are some indirect effects. Direct effects are also there. Indirect effects are also there due to environmental pollution. Direct effects are also there. Indirect effects are also there. Right. What are the direct effects due to environmental pollution? What are the direct effects? Listen, what are the direct effects? 1, acid rain. Acid rain. It's a direct effect due to environmental pollution. 2, global warming. A direct effect due to environmental pollution. 3, depletion of ozone layer. Depletion of ozone layer. 4, photochemical smog. Today we are going to learn about them. Photochemical smog. 5, eutrophication. 5, eutrophication. 5, eutrophication. These are the main direct effects of environmental pollution. Again, what are the direct effects of environmental pollution? Acid rain, global warming, depletion of ozone layer, photochemical smog, eutrophication. Sorry, one by one we will go through. One by one we will go through. First, acid rain. First going on to acid rain section. Where is that? Right, acid rain section. Today morning we already discussed about acid rain. Now try to remember that. Tell me, natural rain. Natural rain is neutral or acidic? Natural, the normal rain. It is neutral or acidic? Normal rain is neutral or acidic? Normal rain is acidic. Why our normal rain is acidic, Lamai? Why the natural rain is acidic? What's the reason? Why natural rain is acidic? What's the reason? Why natural rain is acidic? Due to carbon dioxide and one more thing we learned. Carbon dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. Normal rain is acidic. Normal rain is acidic due to those 2 gases. Carbon dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. But due to some gases, acidity of the rain will increase. Due to some gases, acidity of the rain will increase. Now, normally due to carbon dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, normal rain is acidic. But there are some gases that increases the acidity of the rain. That increases the acidity of the rain. Tell me, what are the other gases that increase the acidity of the rain? What are the other gases that can increase the acidity of the rain? Perfect. Sulfur dioxide, SO2. Another one is also there, starting from sulfur itself. Sulfur trioxide, SO3, and and perfect, nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide. Sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, sulfur trioxide, nitrogen dioxide. When their concentration in our atmosphere increases, guaranteed acidity of the rain will increase. So remember, normal natural rain is little bit acidic due to carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide like that. But when sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, nitrogen dioxide gas concentration increases, acidity of the rain will increase furthermore. Such a rain is called as acid rain. We already learned about it. It's an adverse effect of environmental pollution. Acid rain. Acid rain is harmful condition caused by industrial waste such as oxides of nitrogen and sulfur. Only a small point is given here because already we talked a lot about acid rain. Second, going on to global warming. About global warming also we discussed in the morning. Now you can see same thing is coming again as adverse effect. Acid rain. Now global warming. About that also we talked in the morning. Global warming. We started with greenhouse gases. We started with greenhouse gases. Those who were not there in the morning, listen, will you? Greenhouse gases. What are greenhouse gases, Laman? There are some gases in our atmosphere that can trap solar heat and re-radiate the solar heat in our atmosphere. There are some gases that can trap solar heat. They can hold solar heat, trapping, hold solar heat and re-radiate it back in our atmosphere. What are those gases? Carbon dioxide. It can trap at solar heat, radiate it. Chlorofluorocarbon, CF. Methane, CH. Oxides of nitrogen. We one shot write it NOx. Sulfur dioxide, SO2. Water vapor, H2O gas. These are some gases that have the ability to trap solar heat and re-radiate it back in our Earth's atmosphere. So if I draw and show, this is our Earth's atmosphere. This is the Earth. This is the solar heat entering our Earth. Once when it enters, what does these greenhouse gases do? They will trap the heat and re-radiate it back in our atmosphere. Like this. This solar heat is re-radiated back. So heat won't go out. Most of the heat will remain in our atmosphere. Heat won't go out. Most of the heat will go stay inside. This effect is called as greenhouse effect. This effect is greenhouse effect. Morning we did that. This effect is greenhouse effect. You all tell me, is greenhouse effect good or bad? Is greenhouse effect good or bad? Is greenhouse effect good or bad? Greenhouse effect is good. That is something needed for our survival. Why? If it doesn't happen, a temperature needed for living organism survival will not exist. If it doesn't exist, living organisms can't survive on Earth's atmosphere. A temperature needed for the survival of organisms are kept, that is maintained by this greenhouse effect. But in case if the concentration of these gases increases more than the limit, if the concentration of these gases increases more than the limit, What will happen to the temperature of Earth's atmosphere? What will happen to the temperature of Earth's atmosphere? What will happen to the temperature of Earth's atmosphere? Perfect. Temperature of Earth's atmosphere will also increase further. When it increases further and furthermore, so many ill effects will take place. Why? Now temperature is rising up more than the required temperature for the survival. Uh, that condition is called as global warming. Due to global warming, what will happen? Glaciers will melt. Morning we did that. Glaciers will melt. Glaciers can ice mountain. Ice mountains will melt. When ice mountains melt, that water is added into the sea. Then sea level will rise up. When sea level rises up, small islands go under the sea. They get submerged under the sea. Islands will go under the sea. Long drought conditions will happen. Why? Temperature is high. Plants cannot be grown. Like no food. Right? Temperature is very high, so it's hard to survive. All those things will happen. Long time, no rain. All those ill effects are due to global. Sorry. This year paper, sometimes they can ask about global warming. These days, however, the temperature is high. No? So, somewhere they can connect and ask you something about global warming. Right? I won't tell Anivar global warming will be coming human. This section can come. Can come. So here they can connect and ask. Alright. So just go through that. Again, you should know about two things: greenhouse effect and global warming. What is greenhouse effect? Greenhouse gases trapping the solar heat and re-radiating back in our atmosphere. That is greenhouse effect. That is something good that is needed for our survival. But if greenhouse gases increases more than the limit, temperature of the Earth atmosphere also increases more than the limit. That condition is global warming. That is something bad. Why? Temperature is very high. That is something. Hurry. Now we will read global warming. Global warming. Greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect occurs in the atmosphere with the high concentration of polyatomic molecules of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, CFC, etc. High amount of energy received from sun is refracted away from the earth when the greenhouse gases exceed their permissible level. Hence, temperature of Earth's atmosphere increases. Underline or highlight. Temperature of atmosphere increases. Underline or highlight that section. Is that the reason why they predict Maldives would go under the sea in 400 years? Of course. Actually, most of already so many islands in Maldives are under the sea. Now, Maldives is not just one land. No, you all underline this. Maldives is not just one single land. So many islands are there. Already some islands in Maldives are under the sea. They have gone under the sea. Now, no need to talk a lot. If you go to Gaul, 10 years before, if you go to Gaul, when you are traveling in the Gold Road, 10 years before, I don't know what age you are, 60 years. In case, during Montessori trip, if you have gone to Gaul, during my Montessori, this thing I went to Gaul. Montessori, grade 1, Monari, Montessori enter. So somehow, if you have gone to Gaul, when you go through that Gaul road, Lamai, the road and the sea is very far away. About 10 years before, road and the sea is very far away. But now, if you go, sometimes if the oceanic wave is somewhat high, even that wave can come into the road. Haven't you all seen? Videos and all also come once in a way. When the wind is high, sometimes even the waves come into the land. Can you not the full way, not like tsunami? A little bit of wave jumps into the sea. Sea level is rising. When sea level rises, soil erosion will take place. Soil is gone. So sea comes into the land. Land area reduces, sea comes into the land. So that is already that's already happened. That's why now when you go to beach, have you seen so many stones are there around that borderline in the beach. So many stones are put. Why? Because sea level is rising. That is to protect the soil from soil. That's the reason. Correct. So this is already observable. Huh? Don't think in another this much of years only this will happen. Himana, already it is observable. In our lifetime, we are observing. This is called global warming. What are the things going to happen during global warming? Where shall we start? We'll start from glaciers. Glaciers are melting. Snow cover is melting. That water is going into the ocean. Ice sea. This in the cold areas, in the polar regions and all, big ice blocks will be floating on the sea. Those ice blocks also melt. All of them are melt. When they melt, sea level will rise. Of course, temperature is rising. Surface sea's temperature will increase. Ocean's heat content will increase. Why? Here the temperature is increased. When temperature increases, the sea surface temperature increase. Ocean heat content will increase. Temperature over the ocean also increase. Then lot of water will evaporate. When they evaporate, humidity will increase. Humidity increase. Air temperature near the troposphere increase. So basically, all the temperatures increase. All the ice covers melt. Temperature increase, ice cover. Current temperature of the land also increase. All the temperature increase, ice covers will melt. Global warming. Ill effects of greenhouse effect. Ill effects of greenhouse effect. Now, due to greenhouse effect, what are going to happen? Guaranteed. Melting of polar glaciers due to global warming. Glaciers will melt. Rising of sea level and small islands will be submerged. Now, these things don't go to memorize. You can think practically. No? When the temperature increases, glaciers will melt. Sea level will rise. Climatic patterns will change. However, climatic pattern, everything will change. Now, in very olden days, Sri Lankan, they know when it will rain, when it won't rain. Depending on that only they cultivate, isn't it? In history also, then and there you learn about that. There's a time period where they cultivate. There's a time period they don't cultivate. There's a time period where they harvest. There are time periods. How did they know that time period? Because during a certain time period of the year in Sri Lanka, there will be rainy season. During a certain time period, there will be no rain. No rain. No, not seasons actually. Climatic changes will happen. Predictable climatic changes happen. Now, is the climate predictable? Unless and otherwise meteorological department predict and announces us in the news. Normally, is it predictable? Nanny. Can you tell during this month of the year guaranteed there will be rain? No. Because full climatic pattern is changing. Mainly due to this global warming. Correct? Actually, so many things are happening behind this. Now we can talk a lot separately about global warming. Late after O level, you all just research about it. Oh, what will happen is fine. Or this thing I will tell. These things they won't ask in. But for your knowledge, I will tell. Make you all think just temperature increases. You want temperature increases. Human element think when temperature increases. Here, air layer, its temperature increase. Human when air layer's temperature increases, it goes up. When it goes up, convectional current. When this air goes up and up, there will be a change in the wind flow pattern. Himanid can remember sea breeze and land breeze. When the temperature increase, this air layer get heated up, it goes up. When it goes up, to fill that gap, air from some other place will come and fill that gap. Hima enokotalamai me wind flow direction will change. Now don't think like chuti lamai. Now think in an advanced way. Remember, wind flow kiyanne not only wind flowing from one place to another. Think in a globe. Around the globe, there is a pattern in which wind flows. Around the globe, think out of the world and go out of the world and think. Around our globe, there is a pattern in which wind flows. Depending on the flow direction, clouds also shift. Think one. Depending on the direction in which the wind flows, clouds also move. When clouds move, rain, how rain occurs also changes because clouds only bring rain. Now think, let's take continuously there is wind flow from Sri Lanka to India. Think will continuously there is wind flow from Sri Lanka to India. Then what will happen? All the clouds above Sri Lanka will go to India. All the clouds above Sri Lanka will go to India. Then India will continuously have rain. Sri Lanka will continuously have drought. Things will happen due to global warming. You actually call it El Nino effect. Search it in late after O level, you can search about it. El Nino effect mainly occurs in Pacific Ocean. Hurry. So bigger things are happening behind this global warming. You can research about it separately. But now just keep in mind global warming is when greenhouse gases concentration increase, they trap more and more temperature, more and more heat. Temperature increases, glaciers will melt, sea level goes up. Up to now, just keep that in mind. Later you research about. Alright. Depletion of ozone, ozone layer. Depletion of ozone layer. Correct. ඒක අහගන්නකෝ ළමයි. Ozone layer. Ozone layer depletion. Ozone layer depletion. I will start from the point that is already there in the mind. Now, in most of our mind, we know something called ozone layer is existing. We all know that. From college, before the scholarship convert, we all know something called ozone layer is there. And what is recorded in the mind in most of y'all is above our Earth's atmosphere, above our Earth, in the atmosphere, there is a blanket. A blanket එකට කියන්නේ ozone. And the blanket சொல்றது ozone. That is what we think when we tell ozone layer. We think in our Earth's atmosphere, somewhere around there is a blanket. Sometimes we can see we can where's the ozone layer, we can say on there, that's the ozone layer. Right? There is a blanket like thing. It's the egg. අයියෝ හරි egg හරි මොන හරි. So there's a blanket. That blanket is ozone. When they tell ozone layer depletion, what is actually happening is a hole is created in our ozone layer. A hole is happening. Like Karavin. This is like a cloth. In the cloth, you put a hole. The most of us know this theory in our mind. A blanket is there, a hole is there. Forget about it. Nothing like this is happening. Fully forget about it now. If you have something in your mind like this, fully forget it. Fully forget it. Arami. You're erasing. Delete the file. Delete the files now. Slowly. Go to delete option. Now delete that file. Forget about it. Refresh. Refresh. I will start from the beginning. Hari, now listen. Now listen. Right. Listen very, very carefully. Now listen very, very carefully. Delete all those things. Now listen very, very carefully. Ozone layer, all those things I will explain. Listen. Right. Our Earth is there. We have our Earth atmosphere. Troposphere is there. Stratosphere is there. Like that, several layers are there. I am mainly going to talk about stratosphere. In this stratosphere, there is a thin gaseous cover. There is a thin gaseous cover. A gas is present there. A gas is covering. A gas is present there. That gas is called as ozone gas. That gas is called as what gas? Ozone gas. Symbol O3. Symbol O3. Ozone gas. So it's not a blanket, Lamai. It's not like a cloth around our globe. It's a gas. Think like a cloud. Now, cloud, is it a blanket? It's just water. Actually, it's water dropped on. It's a smoke cover. Smoke like something. A gas like thing that is present around our Earth's atmosphere. That is this ozone layer. It has a little bit of thickness. Thickness කිව්වම don't think it's very thick එහෙම නැහැ. Some millimeters, very a little bit of a millimeter size thickness is there. A small millimeter size thickness is there. A millimeter size thickness is there. A small thickness is there. To certain thickness, this gas is spread. To a certain thickness, this gas is spread. It is located at an altitude of about 25 kilometers above Earth's surface. It's at an altitude, that means height of about 25 kilometers above Earth's surface. So above Earth's surface at about 25 kilometers, there is O3 gas spreaded around. Sorry. O3 gas is useful as well as there are harmful effects. Now, if they ask O3 gas is useful, no, you can't tell. O3 has good uses as well as it has bad problems also. Right. First, I will talk about the good thing about O3. What will this O3 do? Listen, what will this O3 do? O3 at higher atmosphere, that means at a height of about 25 kilometers above Earth's surface, at a high atmosphere, at a high altitude, O3 will absorb ultraviolet radiation from sun. What it absorbs? Ultraviolet radiation, UV radiation. You all tell me, is UV radiation good or bad if it enters in excess amount to the earth? If UV enters in excess amount to the earth, is it good or bad? More big problems. I'll talk about the problems also. I'll tell the problems also. Sorry, big problems are there. Very big problems are there. Sorry, UV more big problems are there. So UV is something bad. What is this O3 doing? It is absorbing the UV. It is absorbing the UV. At higher atmosphere itself, it's absorbing. So UV is not going to enter the Earth's atmosphere. At higher atmosphere itself, UV is absorbed by O3. When UV is absorbed by O3, O3 has to do something. What will O3 do? O3 will break into O2 and atomic oxygen. Margin. O3 breaks into O2 and one oxygen. O3 breaks into O2, atomic oxygen, one single oxygen. O3 become O2 plus atomic oxygen. This atomic oxygen, is it stable? Now, from grade 6 onwards, you had a doubt. No? Sir, oxygen is O. Oxygen is O. But when we write about oxygen, we are writing as O2, IA. Didn't you all have this doubt? In the periodic table, oxygen is O. When they talk about oxygen, test to identify oxygen, they talk about O2. Oxygen is needed for respiration. They don't tell O. They talk about O2. So when they talk about something related to oxygen, they talk about O2. In periodic table, oxygen is given as O. Now, actually, what is oxygen? Him doubt at now listen. Lamai O, atomic oxygen, but unstable. In our nature, at normal condition, you can never find atomic oxygen. In our nature, you can never find atomic oxygen, but unstable. To become stable, it joins with another oxygen and form O2. O2 is stable. That is what you will find in our atmosphere. So if they talk about some practical related to the atmosphere, test to identify oxygen. In a test to identify oxygen, you are dealing with something that is in our atmosphere. Then there can you talk about atomic oxygen? No, because atomic oxygen is not there in our nature. What is there? O2. Oxygen is needed for respiration. Now respiration, something related to the nature. There can you find atomic oxygen? No. Why? O2 is only there. So remember, you can never find O. What you can find? O2. In periodic table, you can talk about, oh, why is periodic table really existing in our nature? Do we have something called periodic table now? In our nature, in our environment, do we have something called periodic table? Periodic table is a concept that we have made for the easiness of studying nature. So there you can find O element. Theoretically, you can talk about O, but practically, can you see O? But you can find O. Sorry, right. So at higher atmosphere, ozone is absorbing UV, converting into O2, and atomic oxygen. You all tell me atomic oxygen, is it stable or unstable? Or more unstable? Very unstable. So what it will do is, again, that atomic oxygen will react with O2. Nothing else is there in the high atmosphere to react. That atomic oxygen will again react with O2 and again form O3. All right. O3 broke to form O2 and O. Again, those two are joining to form O3. O3 broke. That broken part again form O3. Can you see that? O3 broke. That broken parts are again forming O3. This happens in a balanced state, Lamai. O3 breaks, again forms O3. O3 breaks, again forms O3. O3 breaks, again forms O3. This happens in a balanced state. You call it equilibrium. So this equilibrium is maintained in our ozone layer. Ozone will be broken, again it creates ozone. Ozone is breaking, again it creates ozone. Ozone breaking, again ozone. It's at equilibrium. Therefore, there will be no any problems in our ozone layer. It's breaking, but again forming ozone. Breaking, again forming ozone. But what is good about this process is, during this process, ultraviolet radiation from sun are absorbed. That means we are not allowing ultraviolet radiation from sun to enter the earth. Hence, we are protected, and all living organisms and whatever that can get harmed due to ultraviolet radiations are protected. So that is why we tell ozone layer protects the earth from ultraviolet. Up to they are clear. Up to they are clear. Still, I'm not over. Huh? Still, our whole part I didn't. Still, hole is not created. There is no hole. Clear, no? So ozone breaks. Again, it forms ozone. No any hole. Just think, is there any hole due to this? O3 broken, again O3 is there. O3 broken, again O3 is there. No hole. It's at equilibrium state. It's happening at a balance state. It's happening at a balance. Now, due to human activities, due to our activity, gases like CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, nitric oxide, NO, are released. CFC is released from what activity, Laman? Morning wheeler. CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, is released due to what activity? From what chlorofluorocarbon is released? From refrigerators and AC. From refrigerators and ACs, CFC, it's a cooling gas. So due to human activity, CFC from vehicles, nitric oxide, they are released out. From factories also, nitric oxide are released. What will these two do? These two, when they go to higher atmosphere, when they go near the ozone layer, when they go near the ozone layer, what will they do? They themselves, nitric oxide, CFC like gases, they themselves will break this O3 to form oxygen and atomic oxygen. They are going to break down O3. Now, already O3 is broken, again it is formed like this. This is happening in a peaceful way. This is happening. There are families that make problem, they break into two, they themselves solve it, again become one. You think, will you? Themselves have problem, they don't talk, again they talk, again they join. Again have problem, they again they join. They themselves are doing. Now, additionally, someone else is coming there and accelerating this process. It is telling, no, no, you break. You break and go 3. You don't need to wait until UV comes to break down. You yourself break down. You yourself break down. Yeah, it is doing that. CFC, nitric oxide, they are doing it. And it is not reversed as well. This is not reversed as front, it's happening, accelerated then happening. Reverse is not happening. There is no enough time for it to have for it to take place the reverse process. Now tell me, what will happen to the amount of O3? When this happens, what will happen to the amount of O3? What will happen to the concentration of O3? It will decrease. And yes, O3 is breaking. When O3 breaks, the concentration of O3 will decrease. When concentration of O3 decrease, thickness of ozone layer will decrease. Think practically. When concentration of O3 decrease, thickness will decrease. That decrease in the thickness is called as hole in the ozone. Actually, that's not a standard word. What you call is depletion of ozone layer. That's the correct word. Depletion. Thickness of the ozone is decreased. Why? O3 is broken. When O3 is broken, the thickness of the ozone decreases. When thickness of ozone decreases, now sometimes it decreases. At that point, it might disappear also. Decrease the thickness, decrease. Sometimes it disappears. A real hole will be also there. Everything. It's like a smoke. I told you. Think like a smoke. In the smoke, a small hole-like substance, a hole-like thing. When that happens, now what will happen to UV radiation? UV can enter. It will cause. This is that depletion in ozone. Sorry. Okay. That's a good question. How much time will it take to recreate? Actually speaking, during Corona time, these gases emission reduced a lot. As it reduced a lot, ozone layer regained the thickness it had. Before that, huge problem. Ozone was more and more thickness was depleted. During the Corona period, again it regained the thickness. So actually, if you leave it as it without releasing any of that, nature will nature will get healed itself. We harm the nature. If we now, if we can leave the nature as it is, it will heal it. That is a lesson we learn from Corona. Huh? From Corona, that's a lesson that we learn. Okay, we harmed our nature. Nature punished that. Okay, you stay at home. No need to go anywhere. At that time, nature got enough time to get healed. Now again we are harming the nature. Then again there will be a consequence like that. Again it will take some time to get healed. That is the beauty of our mother nature. Sorry. Okay, right. One more point. How is the CFC and nitric oxide doing this process? How it is breaking down? There's a small point about that. CFC. What's the full name of CFC, Lamai? Fluorine is there. Fluorine is there. Carbon. In this chloro part, fluorine, it has a single electron on it. It has a single electron on it. Now you want to understand why it is having a single electron. It has a single electron on it. It is a atomic oxygen. It's a atomic chlorine. When CFC breaks down, it can release this atomic chlorine out. This atomic chlorine with a single electron can break down O3 to form O2 and atomic oxygen. What? CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, has chlorine. If it breaks down, it fully releases this atomic chlorine. This atomic chlorine can break down O3 to form O2 and O. So actually speaking, not the full CFC is harming O3. What in CFC is harming O3? The atomic chlorine in CFC. That is what is harming our O3. Same with nitric oxide also. Nitric oxide has a atomic, it has a single electron. Atomic, no, it has a single electron. Chlorine, atomic chlorine also has a single electron. Nitric oxide also has a single electron. Anyone who has a single electron is what harmful. More harm. So nitric oxide, it has a single electron. It is unstable. That is why it is going and break. So remember, CFC, it can release atomic chlorine. That atomic chlorine has a single electron. That is only harming our O3. Nitric oxide has a single electron. Due to that, nitric oxide harms O3. That's the reason. Alright. Now we'll read about depletion of ozone layer. Ozone is a trimetric molecule, O3. 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 It's a triatomic molecule. Right? This is a thin layer. It's already thin, not very thick. Thin layer found at 25 kilometers away from Earth's surface. At higher atmosphere, oxygen absorbs ultraviolet radiation and forms atomic oxygen. This atomic oxygen is highly reactive. That single person atomic oxygen potter react. They react with O2 to form O3. This O3 is converted back to O2 and natural equilibrium is maintained. So basically O3 is broken, again it is reversed. O3 is broken, again it is reversed. Naturally it's at equilibrium state. This ozone layer acts as a protective shield to prevent the entry of harmful ultraviolet radiation to Earth's surface. But gases, the gases like CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, and nitric oxide, NO, destroy ozone layer by detaching oxygen. CFC at higher atmosphere obtains solar radiation and it is converted to atomic chlorine. CFC breaks down to form atomic chlorine. This atomic chlorine react with O3 and break down the ozone molecule. So remember, not the full CFC. What in CFC is breaking down the ozone? Atomic chlorine in CFC. So at high atmosphere, CFC will break down due to the solar heat. It will break down and release atomic chlorine. This atomic chlorine only breaks down O3. So this atomic chlorine reacts with O3 and break down ozone. Similarly, nitric oxide also reacts with ozone to destroy. Due to the depletion of ozone layer, holes appear in it. As a result, radiation with high energy level reaches the Earth. Understood that full section now? Any doubt? So why in ozone layer atomic oxygen is not joining with another atomic oxygen? Actually speaking, that is also happening there. Atomic oxygen joins with atomic oxygen and forms O2. As well as that O2 will join with O to form O3 as well. So we can't actually summarize it into two reactions. You can study a lot about this. Now, this is also a place where you can research a lot. Even the I summarize. We have to learn only these two parts. O3 breaks to form O2 and O. O2 joins with O to form O3. එහෙම summarize කරාට so many things happening inside. This single atomic oxygen can join with another atomic oxygen, form O2. That O2 can join with another O to form O3. එහෙම වෙන්නේ. Hurry. So your question, yes, that is happening. So can you explain the final part? O3 with CFC and nitric oxide. Hurry. Final part, depletion part. Hurry. Isn't it? CFC and nitric oxide at higher atmosphere breaks down O3. It can deplete ozone. How it is doing it? CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. At higher atmosphere, it can break down to form atomic chlorine. CFC will break down to form atomic chlorine. This atomic chlorine will go and only hit this O3. This atomic chlorine goes and hits the O3. That is why O3 breaks to form O2 and O. So don't think directly CFC is hitting O3. First from CFC, Cl is released. Cl goes and hits O3. From that only it is broken. When you take nitric oxide will directly go hit O3, break it into O2 and hurry. So from CFC, Cl is released. Cl goes and hits. Nitric oxide directly goes and hits. That's only breaks. Hurry. Got it now, the person who asked? So why that single electron is important? That now you want to understand that part. Later you will learn. If you look at the structure, when CFC breaks, when it releases Cl, it releases Cl with 7 electrons. It releases the chlorine with 7 electrons. 7 electron කියන්නේ 3 pairs are there, one single electron is there. That is how CFC releases chlorine. That's why there's a single electron. That single electron is dangerous. So should we memorize the equation? No need to memorize the equation, but same equation is only explained as sentences. Sorry, that's why I put it in the equation and hurry, hurry, hurry. Ill effects of ozone layer depletion. What are the issues due to ozone layer depletion? First, causes cataract. Now, what is cataract, Lamai? What is cataract? Listen to me. When ultraviolet radiation enters Earth, when it enters Earth, due to depletion, it enters the Earth. If our eyes are exposed to this ultraviolet radiation in a higher amount, if our eyes are exposed to ultraviolet radiation in a higher amount, what will the ultraviolet radiation do? It will denature the protein in our eyelids. What does it do? Denature the protein in our eyelids. So due to the denaturing of protein in our eyelids, there will be a smoke-like cover form. Have you seen some people's eyes? Old people's eyes. Their eyelids has a smoke-like cover. A smoke-like cover is there. A smoky-like thing is there. They can't see properly. Who is coming? Smoke, like smoky eyes are there. That condition is called cataract. So cataract is formed due to ultraviolet radiation. Okay. Okay. Yeah, transparency of the eye will get reduced by smoke-like form. Next, causes mutation. We already talked about mutation under inheritance lesson. Mutation can cause due to radiation or due to ultraviolet radiation. Reduce the body immunity. I told you this is patta harmful. Immune system gets weaker. Affect the photosynthesis and reduce the crop yield. These are all ill effects of ozone layer depletion. Cataract, mutation, reduce the immunity, harms the. Right. That's it about ozone layer depletion. Next, going to photochemical smog. Photochemical smog. Photochemical smog. Hurry. Now listen me. Photochemical smog. Photochemical smog. Simply, what is this photochemical smog? More simple. Listen. A yellow colored mist like cover that covers our atmosphere. That is photochemical smog. a yellow colored mist like condition. Not normal mist. It's a yellow colored mist. It's like a smoke like thing is filling our atmosphere. That is photochemical smog. Photochemical smog happen during the morning hours when the temperature is at or less than 15 degrees Celsius. Can photochemical smog take place at night time? No. It forms and it takes place during morning hours when the temperature is at or less than 15 degrees Celsius. Again, what is this photochemical smog? Yellow colored mist like smoke filling the atmosphere. It happens during morning hours. Not every morning, I'll tell why it happened, how it happened. So if those conditions are fulfilled, it will happen. So during morning hour, when the temperature is at or less than 15 degrees Celsius. Sorry. Now listen. Now how this yellow color mist is formed? How this is formed? Right. Listen. Our vehicles are there. It runs with fuels. Vehicles run with fuel. Factories also they use fuels. During the combustion of fuel, sometimes some unburned hydrocarbons will be released out. Not all the hydrocarbon will be burnt off. Incomplete combustion, if it takes place, some hydrocarbon will be unburned. That unburned hydrocarbon get released out from vehicles and from factories. Unburned hydrocarbons are released. Unburned hydrocarbons. Unburned hydrocarbons are as well as from vehicles. Nitric oxide is also released from vehicles as well as from factories. Nitric oxide is also released. These are already pollutants. These pollutants are called as primary pollutants. These pollutants are what pollutants? Primary pollutants. Unburned hydrocarbon, nitric oxide like pollutants are primary pollutants because they are directly released to the atmosphere due to some human activity, directly released out. Primary pollutants. Sorry. Now listen. When the temperature is less than 15 degrees Celsius or when the temperature is at 15 degrees Celsius, due to sunlight, this unburned hydrocarbon and nitric oxide will form ozone, aldehyde, peroxy, acetyl, nitrate. In simple form, you call it PAN, pan, peroxy, benzyl, nitrate, peroxybenzyl nitrate. Simple form, you call it P band, P band, P band. These are called as secondary pollutants. What type of pollutants? Secondary pollutants, i.e., these pollutants are created from the primary one. See, primary is unburned hydrocarbon, nitric oxide. They are released directly due to human activity. When these are exposed to 15 degrees Celsius or a temperature less than 15 degrees Celsius, and with the presence of sunlight, it will be converted. This is only converted into ozone, aldehyde. These are all chemical substances. Peroxyacetyl nitrate, PAN, peroxybenzyl nitrate, PBEN. This mixture forms a yellow colored mist like condition. That condition is only photochemical. So now can you understand this photochemical smoke form at a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius or less than that in presence of sunlight. That is why morning hours. 15 degrees Celsius temperature should be 15 or less. Sunlight should be. With that, unburned hydrocarbon and nitric oxide in our atmosphere convert to form what? Ozone, aldehyde, peroxyacetyl nitrate, peroxybenzyl. This mixture is that yellow color mist like. Okay. Now, can you remember? I already talked about ozone. I told ozone is mainly present in higher atmosphere, 25 kilometers above. When it is present at higher atmosphere, it is good. We were talking. When ozone is present at higher atmosphere, it is good. We were talking. Can you remember the first question I asked after I briefed this? Is ozone good or bad? I told everyone good, no? Yes. At higher atmosphere, it's good. But at lower atmosphere, it's very bad. Why? At lower atmosphere, ozone forms photochemicals. So remember, ozone should be there at higher atmosphere. If ozone is formed at lower atmosphere, that is harm. Sorry, or there are quotes saying the value of a thing is when it is present in its place, right? Or Lamborghini like cars, they store it in dusty garage and they give a quote. The value of the thing is present only when it is present in its own place. Human. Ozone's value is there when it is present at its higher atmosphere. If it is present at low atmosphere, whatever it is, it forms photochemicals. Has it happened before? Yes, of course. Haven't you all seen during news they tell uh, today the transparency of the air is less කියලා. Haven't you all seen? They tell in the news today transparency of air is less. Quality of the air has dropped down. එහෙම they tell. No, කියන්නේ you all don't watch news. හොඳයි ඉතින්. These days no need to watch news. After the exam, take some time and watch news. Then and there, not very often. Then and there, they tell it. Right? Quality of air has dropped down. Transparency of the air is down. That is due to photochemical smoke. That is due to photochemical. Sorry. Now we'll go. This is the picture. This is the picture. Photochemical smoke. It is a yellow colored mist that is formed due to reaction resulted between sunlight and chemicals in vehicle emission, which causes eye irritation and vision impairment. What happened? Oxides of nitrogen released due to combustion of fossil and unburned hydrocarbon transform into ozone, aldehyde, peroxyacetyl nitrate, peroxybenzyl nitrate. Oxides of nitrogen kivama mainly it is nitric oxide. Inside brackets write and keep mainly nitric oxide. At 15 degrees Celsius in presence of sunlight. So both should be fulfilled. Sunlight should be there 15 degrees Celsius or less than. Due to these secondary pollutants, these are secondary pollutants. Photochemical smog is, this is photochemical. Sorry. Adverse effects of photochemical smog, right? What are going to happen due to photochemicals? Causes respiratory tract disorders, guaranteed yes. Why? Quality of the air is down. Respiratory disease, cough, wheeze. Sick to plant. So plant and food production is affected. Okay. Vision is affected due to turbidity. That means it's like transparency of the air is less. So it's like a smoky condition. So vision is affected. Oh, if the photochemical smog level is very high, they advise you not to drive vehicle. Why? You can't see. Can't see. Or the quality of rubber and clothes reduces due to bleaching. That's the important point. Now, chemicals like aldehydes, they are bleaching agents. They will bleach your clothes. That means it will change the color. It make your color of the clothes discolored. Okay. So clothes they get discolored. Vehicles color become discolored. Now don't think. Now don't think like this at once. Now vehicle is traveling. Colombo area photochemical smog is there. Once when we enter at once the color will be color won't get changed like that. Slowly, color will become dull in color. Sorry. That's what is going to happen. That is about photochemical. Next one, biomagnification. Now, what is this biomagnification means? First, I will explain and then we will read. Let's take there is a chooty fish in the pond. Chooty fellow. Hi. Chooty fellow is there. This is eating all the things there. Okay. This chooty fish is going, eating everything in the pond. When it is eating, let's take, there are some toxic substances in pond. There are some toxic substances there. Sorry. Mercury particle, toxic substance. This fellow consume that all. This fellow in a little amount, it has consumed that. All right. Like this, several stupid fish are there going and consuming. In every one of them, there's a little amount of toxic substance. Next one. A big fish comes. A big fish comes. That big fish is consuming all these stupid fish. A big fish is coming and consuming all these stupid fish. Then what will happen into big fish? Big fish will also get all the toxic substances stored in this stupid fish. Think practically. When big fish goes and eats the small fish, it will gain all the toxic substances already present in the small fish. Next, a crane is there. Sorry. Now, this fellow is going and eating several big fish. Crane is going and eating several big fish. Now, what will happen in crane's body? Crane is going to gain all the toxic material that are present in all these big fish. Now, toxic amount in crane is more. Now, the amount of toxic chemicals in the small fish is very less. From that, big fish gain some toxic, then compared to the small fish, the toxic chemical substances in the big fish is more. Compared to the big fish, now crane is going to gain more and more toxic level. So, can you see these toxic substances get accumulated and get magnified from one trophic level to the next trophic level along the food chain? Can you see that? Toxic chemical substances get accumulated and get magnified. This has a very less amount of toxic. This has more than. This is going to have more than. So already, now when you take a crane, now when it is eating about 4 or 5 fish like this, it automatically will have to face some health issue. Why? Already it is gaining toxic chemicals from this fish. So it will face some problems. See, toxic chemicals getting accumulated and getting magnified from one trophic level to the next trophic level along the food chain. This process is called as biomagnification. Toxic chemical substances getting accumulated and becoming magnified from one trophic level to the next trophic level along the food chain. Hurry. Right. Now we will read biomagnification. Collection of toxic chemical pollutants along the food chain, along with the food chain from one trophic level to the other is called biomagnification. Features of bioaccumulated substances. What are the features? These substances do not degrade easily. These now mercury and all do not degrade easily and retain for a long period of time. Can pass from one organism to the other. Soluble in lipids. They are soluble in lipids. Become active as biochemical. Now, what are biochemicals? What are biochemicals? Enzymes are biochemicals. The chemicals that are synthesized inside living organisms' body to perform any biological activity. They are biochemicals. So enzymes are produced inside our body to perform some biological activities. Those are biochemicals. They can control the activities of your body. Now see, these toxic substances are becoming active as biochemical. That means they are trying to control your body. More They are going to become active as biofilm. They try to control your body. Guaranteed diseases. Guaranteed diseases. Alright? These substances enter into lower trophic level in micro amount. Lower trophic level will have it in micro amount. But they get concentrated, along higher trophic level. First, they enter in micro level and they get concentrated. That means their amount will increase along higher trophic level. Okay. So first it enters as micro level. Slowly through the trophic levels, its concentration increases. Underline or highlight this last point. That's a very important. Last point highlighted. So want this toxic get destroyed when cooking, not to a higher extent. Now, if you take fish and all, will it cook and eat? Human animal. So don't think it get fully destroyed. To some extent, it get destroyed. You can't tell it will fully get destroyed. Okay. Then our body is also containing toxic compounds. Of course, guaranteed we have so much of toxic substances inside our body. Are you? Right. So the last point is first it enters in micro amount, small amount. First the lower trophic levels, it has only micro amount, small amount. But through the food chain, its concentration increases. Next one, eutrophication. Eutrophication. Or eutrophication. That's the important part. Eutrophication. Eutrophication. Listen, Will. Due to some human activity. What are the human activities? I'll tell. Due to some human activity, nitrate, NO3 minus, and phosphate concentration in water bodies, nitrate and phosphate concentration in water bodies increases due to some human activities. Nitrate and phosphate concentration in water bodies increase. Due to what human activities? Mainly due to industrial waste. Due to industrial waste. Due to industrial waste. Industrial waste. Due to agrochemicals. Due to agrochemicals. 3. Due to our fecal matter. Due to the fecal matter. Due to the usage of detergent. Due to these kinds of activity, nitrate and phosphate concentration in water bodies increases. Especially industrial waste and all, they release lot of phosphates and nitrates into the water body. Agrochemical, fecal matter has nitrates and phosphates. Detergents has nitrates and phosphates. They are released into our water body. Once when they are released, what will happen? Now see, once when these nitrate and phosphates are released excessively, what will happen? Algae will start to grow in our water body. When nitrates and phosphates are released in excess amount, algae's growth will increase in water bodies. More beautiful, no lamai now. Water bodies are green in color. Algae are there everywhere. They are growing everywhere, right? Phosphate and nitrate are increasing the amount of growth of algae. So full ponds, rivers, everything become green in color. Beautiful, yes. But As there is high population of algae, now the competition will also increase. Not all the algae can grow there. Due to that competition, algae will die. Once when the algae die, microorganisms go and try to decompose this algae, especially anaerobic bacteria. They go and try to decompose the algae. Why? Algae is dead, no? They will go to decompose this algae. When this anaerobic bacteria go to decompose the algae in rivers and ponds, they release some gas. What are the gases they will release? Sulfur dioxide, ammonia, methane. These kinds of gases are released when anaerobic bacteria go to decompose this dead algae. You'll tell me, sir, gases are released. Beautiful. Yes, very beautiful. How beautiful it is? I will tell the smells of each one of them. You will understand how beautiful it is. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, H2S, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen. Sorry, tell the smells of each one of them. You will understand how beautiful it is. Hydrogen sulfide, rotten egg smell, rotten egg cells. Sometimes when you buy egg from the shop, you break it. If it is rotten, you feel a smell. Yeah, that's it. Ammonia. You can actually get the smell of ammonia for free. What you do? Next time when you go to school, do this sentiment. Next time when you go to school, let the interval finish. Interval should finish. Hari. Interval should finish. 10:30, the 10:30, Hari. Interval should finish. Once when the interval is about to finish, quickly run near the washroom. Beautiful smell. That's the smell of ammonia. Urine smell. That's the smell of ammonia. Hari, I'm not going to write it. That's the smell of ammonia. Methane, of course, it doesn't have any smell, but it is released together. Now think. All these three are released together from the pond. Morrissey. All these three are released from the pond. How beautiful. That condition is called as eutrophication. Causes an unpleasant smell. Transparency of the water is loosened. Why? Algae are there, it covers the green color there. Transparency is lost. Aquatic organisms cannot live there. You can't go near that. That is eutrophication. Sometimes haven't you felt it? When you go near some rivers, some ponds and all, you feel a beautiful smell, a rotten egg smell, isn't it? Haven't you all felt it? Haven't you all felt it? That is because of eutrophication. How to now solve it here? There was a question. How to solve it? You have to avoid the releasing of nitrates and phosphates into water body. This releasing amount should be reduced. When you reduce that amount, algae population will get reduced. When algae population is reduced, only you can stop. That's how you do it. Hurry. So that full condition is eutrophication. Hurry. One more time, we'll go through what is eutrophication. Human activities like in industries, human activities like industries, agrochemicals, agrochemical, fecal matter, detergent, they release nitrates and phosphates. These nitrates and phosphates will increase the amount of growth of algae. When growth of algae are increased, competition will also increase. Due to competition, algae will die. Once when they die, to decompose them, anaerobic bacteria go there. When they decompose, hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, methane like gases are released. Beautiful smell. Eutrophic. Hari? We'll go through eutrophication. Phosphate and nitrate. Underline or highlight it. Phosphate. This can come to the exam. What are the ions that can cause eutrophication? Phosphate and nitrate. Phosphate nitrate concentration in reservoirs increases due to waste materials from industry, agrochemical, fecal matter, and detergents. Underline or highlight what are releasing phosphate and nitrate. Industries, agrochemical, fecal matter, and detergents. As a result, algae grow excessively and form a green colored foamy layer. This incident is known as eutrophication. The overpopulated algae die due to competition, and anaerobic bacteria act on this dead matter and emit gases such as hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, methane. Underline or highlight the gases released. Hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, methane, which results in a beautiful odor. Right? Right? Next, ill effects of eutrophication. Now, what are the issues related to eutrophication? What are the ill effects of eutrophication? Loss of transparency in water. Water will become green color. Unable to utilize the water. You can't use that water. Reduction of biodiversity. Aquatic organisms will die. Plants will die due to death of aquatic plants and animals. Loss of beauty of the reservoir. Loss of. So these are the ill effects. These things don't go to memorize. Guaranteed you know when eutrophication happens. Transparency will be lost. There will be unpleasant smell. Biodiversity will reduce. Those are the, you can't use that water. Those are the reasons. Finally, increase in radiation levels. Exposure to radiation increases day by day. These radiations are released by natural sources and due to human activity. Especially, destruction of ozone layer and accidents in nuclear power plant station are the reason for the situation. We know when ozone layer depletes, ultraviolet radiation enters. Accident in nuclear power plant station. We already talked about it in the morning. Due to that radiation sign. Those can cause huge effects in environment. Example, Fukushima power plant in Japan, Chernobyl power plant in Russia. We talked about it already in the morning, right? The accidents in power plant station, nuclear power plant station. Fukushima power plant station in Japan, it's a nuclear power plant station where there was a blast. Chernobyl power plant station, it's a Russian power plant station, nuclear power plant station in Russia where a blast. Right? Finally, indirect effect of environmental pollution. Now, until now, what we discussed the direct effect. Understand what we are doing. We discussed the direct effects of environmental pollution. Now we are going to indirect effects. Last part. What are the indirect effects? One, loss of habitat for organism. Organism will lose the place to live. Once when environmental pollution happens, organism don't have a place to live. Loss of habitat. Natural environment where a plant or animal lives is known as habitat. These habitats are lost due to the environmental pollution. Wild elephants tend to destroy villages and agricultural land due to loss of their habitat. This is a result of environmental pollution. Now, in Sri Lanka, this happens. Not in Colombo, Kandy areas and all. Hari? If you have traveled through Mahiyangana road, that is Kandy Badulla road. So, Badulla, you can go through Avisavala road, not Avisavala road. From Kandy, if you are going to Badulla, Da Ate Wangur, that road, have you heard about it? No? That road, Mahiyangana road. That road is more dangerous. That road more and more dangerous. You can't predict that road. Very less number of vehicles are there. At any instance, wild elephants can cross. Abhi more adrenaline containing road. Once I was traveling in it. Sorry. More adrenaline because no vehicles are there. Okay. You have to travel. Actually, when you enter that road, there's a checkpoint. Hurry, they check who is going inside. And during the exit point also, there's a small checkpoint. Whether we have come out. HRI. On the way, nothing is. Even Victoria Dam is somewhere around that. Like Victoria, run the Nigala Hari. One of that dam is in that road. That road is more dangerous due to wild elephant. Mainly, now think of the people living there. Then and there, you can see small villages. Think of the people living there. Even traveling in that road is more dangerous now. Think of the people there. Every day they live with what a kind of a scare in their eyes. Elephants at any instant can come. My biggest question is, why did they build a road in that jungle? Second question, why did they build a dam in that jungle? Why those villages are expanding? Due to that expansion, elephants are losing their habitat. That's why they are coming and causing distress to the village. Now, don't think that elephants are coming and hitting us. That is because uh, they are doing something wrong. No, we have done wrong. Why? We have cleared their habitat. They don't have a place to live. So they come to our place. That is what is happening. Okay. Next, desertification. Right. We'll go through what is desertification. The changes of the ground condition making unsuitable for plant growth is desertification. Mainly, when water content in the soil is reduced, can any plants grow in that soil? When water content in the soil is reduced, when the soil is very dry, can plants properly grow in that soil? No. That type of a condition is desertification. Deforestation, greenhouse effect, salination, and natural causes such as weather changes are the reasons for desertification. Irregular monsoon rains causes drought is a result for. So basically, land is dry. You can't grow anything in that. Reduction of crop yield. When the conditions required for photosynthesis are not present in optimum level, the productivity of the plant is affected. Therefore, yield is reduced. Lands become infertile due to their constant use for agriculture. The productivity of plant decreases through water, land, and air pollution. Construction and degradation of natural environment. Metal statues, buildings, ruins, and marble buildings are eroded by acid rain. Morning we were talking about. Natural limestones are also degraded due to acid. As temperature of environment increases, wall plasters and paintings of Taj Mahal is at a risk of deterioration. That's true. Huh? Now, actually, Taj Mahal has lost its color. Now, the color is not the real color of Taj Mahal. It has already lost the color. Why? Due to acid. This Sunday, do we have theory class? Yes, Puta. Sunday theory class is there. This week, all the theory classes will happen. Health issues. As the environment is polluted, infectious and non-infectious diseases spread rapidly in the environment. Due to improper disposal of garbage, diseases like dengue. Reduction of biodiversity. Reduction of number of species in a unit area of biosphere is known as reduction of biodiversity. So basically, once when the environment is polluted, number of organisms in that environment will reduce. Biodiversity will reduce. When pruning some plants used in landscape, some parts are removed. When ornamental fish like catfish grow in size, they are released to the natural water bodies. These organisms become threat to other organisms in the natural environment and affect the biodiversity. Now, let me catfish. Catfish is an ornamental fish that is mainly grown for the beauty, But when they are grown in higher amount and released to the environment can released into aquatic water bodies, they become a harm and a threat to other organisms living there. Why? They can reproduce easily, their number increases easily, they become an invasive species. Their number increases, they invade the full water body there. So it becomes a threat to other living organisms. That's about reduction of biodiversity. Introduction of invasive species. Invasive species are result of changes in the environment. These species can tolerate the condition and therefore invade the habitat of native species. Now, have you seen sometime during some climatic condition, suddenly some grass species grows everywhere around your house? However much you clean it, it's very hard to stop its growth. Haven't you all seen? During some climatic conditions, some grass species are there, grows everywhere. It's very hard to control that. In your garden, it grows everywhere. That's an invasive species that can tolerate that environmental condition. It is invading your full land and getting growing and growing. Huh? Example, giant mimosa, trout, andhra, lantana. Those are the HRID, direct and indirect effects of environmental pollution. That's it. Biosphere day 3 is also done. Okay, day 3 is done. Okay. What is the phone number? My phone number is my this one. This is my personal phone number, note 7110639910. Two more phone numbers are given admin option in the group. Those two are admin, they are admins. That is not used, that is my not my personal one, that is used by my team people, like Eva, for admin purpose. Sorry. This is my personal number. Any doubts, send to this one. Sorry. He might, yeah. We have a remaining part in Biosphere. I told you in the theory class, we are going to do a food mile part that will be happening on the last day, I mean, yeah, last day of our class. Food mile part, small part is remaining. Where are you from? I'm from Colombo. Vattala. Site C. Is bank transfer available? No, bank transfer is not available. Okay. Okay. Should we buy the tickets for Candy Batch 2? Yeah, all the tickets now, starting from tomorrow onwards, our theory locations, tickets are available. Candy Faraday tickets are available for final seminar. Vattale Faraday tickets are available for Faraday for final seminar starting from tomorrow. Kottayan also available. Now, Vattala and Kottayana people, no registrations. Hinda me. Only those who buy the ticket and finish it off will enter the seminar. එහෙමයි යන්නේ no registrations are there. Therefore, don't wait until the last day. As soon as possible, purchase it and finish it because once when you all know the capacity is there, once when the capacity is full, we won't take anymore. Hari, Hari, you so many questions. Hari. Totally, how many tickets I should? That I'll tell once when we see. Can we purchase physical seminar tickets in online? Nah, him back. I slowly send the message. What about online, sir? Online, there is no any tickets. Right? Hari, Hina, already 11:50. Hinang Lamai, Biosphere, 99 percentage done. Only 2 part is there that we finished in theory class. This week, all the places theory class will happen. This week, all the places theory class will. Okay. Okay, then. Enough for today. Now, today, then finish. Lot of things are done. Morning also, we did, evening also. Lot of things are done. Go through the biosphere section. Now itself study, put the things to the mind. Now itself finish it off. Biosphere, don't keep anything up to here. Finish it off. Okay. Okay, then enough for today. I'll meet you all again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is 1000 MCQ session. Then tomorrow night is 1000 MCQ. Until then, this is King's Perori. Signing off.